My name is Sahra Soudi. I am an organizer and activist, and I organize with the McMaster Womanists. So the McMaster Womanists on campus provide a safe space for Black and gender oppressed students. And recently this year we actually opened up a space for Black and gender oppressed students who experience sexual violence and gendered violence. In the community, we were able to generate a report where we had an anti-racist action initiative where we had members of the community sort of discuss the key issues or the problems that they were facing, and we were able to create a list of demands. And that's some of the things that we organize around. We also hold rallies and protests when they're appropriate. I'm a multimedia student, and my thesis is a documentary that is documenting the last 5 to 10 years of police brutality and hate crimes in the Canadian context. The goal for the collective is to inspire and mobilize racialized people who are media makers, but also racialized people who are doing activist work on the ground to sort of work together in telling stories that otherwise would go unheard. And sort of the importance of that comes from having representation and visibility of groups and organizations that are doing the work and sort of humanizing them as well at the same time. I think solidarity can look differently in different contexts. Creating space for marginalized communities, also things like Islamophobia. Folks who have been disenfranchised, showing up is really important, and also creating space. And like solidarity also looks like learning and also being able to learn how to not take up as much space as one would be used to. I think for me, taking up space comes from a place of almost like frustration, where you don't see yourself represented, and that frustration can be used to incite or stimulate some sort of resistance, and doing that on campus is hard. Doing that in the community is also hard. Anytime you're trying to create representation for yourself will be met with institutional resistance, especially if you're calling things out like white supremacy. But for me, the importance of that comes from wanting to create a community for people who have been neglected, and also for groups who are disenfranchised the most. So taking up space on campus looks like resisting policies. Like at McMaster right now, there's an anti-disruption policy, and this is like specifically targeting marginalized groups on campus who are like protesting and resisting the academic institution. And so for me, it comes from a place of frustration, but then also a love, or like the love for a community.